Today I'll be talking about a diet that has revolutionized the health system and has changed the perspective of how we view carbohydrates in general. The Atkins Diet. Dr. Robert C. Atkins was actually an American physician, a cardiologist, who developed this Atkins Diet. And the Atkins Diet was developed in 1972 when he was a working physician, and it actually helped reverse diabetes type 2, pre-diabetes, heart disease, especially hypertension. There are two forms of the Atkins diet. First is called the Atkins 20 diet, and the next one is the Atkins 40 diet. Now, the Atkins 20 diet is the original diet that Dr. Atkins had developed at that time in 1972. So in that diet, he actually said that you cannot have greater than 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. And later on, they developed this diet called the Atkins 40 diet, which was a less strict version or an introductory version of the Atkins diet. And in that, you cannot have greater than 40 grams of carbohydrates a day. Now, how do you measure how many carbohydrates you take? Well, it's really easy. If you are dedicated to your diet and you want to lose weight, you're serious about following the Atkins diet or the keto diet or any diet rigorously, you will have to count your macros. It's a big mistake that you do not count your macros and you take them in, because after all, the game of weight loss is about calories in, calories out. So I myself bought this scale. It's a really cheap scale. You find them for about 10 to 20 bucks. This is a food scale that you can put on your kitchen table and you can measure your macros that you intake. You cannot have greater than 20 macros on a strict Atkins diet and greater than 40 grams of macros in carbohydrates in a lenient version of the Atkins diet. Now, I myself would suggest to you that you start the Atkins 40 diet first and then go to the Atkins 20 before you go to the maintenance period. And let's talk about the Atkins diet in detail. At the top of the Atkins pyramid are the starches. Vegetables like potatoes, corn, yams, tubers, roots. These have a greater carbohydrate content. In the middle of the food pyramid are actually proteins, eggs, fish, meat, red meat, chicken, turkey, bacon, whatever you like, it's in the middle. At the bottom of the food pyramid are fats. Fats like avocados, these are really good fats, olive oils, coconut oil, MCT oil, many other oils like walnut oil, almond oil. But you can also have nuts in their general form because they are high in fiber. You can also have fatty fish like mackerel, salmon, tuna. It's really good for you because it has a lot of omega-3s. Speaking of omega-3s, you can also have eggs that have been pasteurized. Now, these eggs are really good. You can also have meat. Now, speaking of meat, you should find it from the best source available. And the best for me is grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef has the highest content of omega-3. Grass-fed meat is better in general than grain-fed meat because grain-fed meat has a lot lower quality in fats than the grass-fed meat. The grass-fed meat naturally has CLA. Now, CLA or conjugated linoleic acid will actually help you lose weight. CLA has been added to many of the green teas and many other formulas, but CLA that actually comes from grass-fed meat and from pasteurized eggs is the best form of CLA you can have, and it will help you a lot in your weight loss journey. Atkins diet has 4 phases. These are phases that you will go through your weight loss journey, and as you go through these phases, you'll actually notice that you are losing weight with each of the phase as it passes. So there are 4 phases of the Atkins diet. The first phase is the induction phase. The induction phase is actually the Kickstarter phase that's gonna put you in that fat loss journey. Now, in the induction phase, you cannot have starchy vegetables, you cannot have fruits, you cannot have any carbohydrates from the white sources or the processed sources in the induction phase. You cannot have them overall in the Atkins diet, but you have to stay clear of them at the start, because at the start is when you lose most of your weight. Now, you can have carbohydrates from good sources like brown rice, brown bread, unprocessed flour. You can have these, but make sure you stay at less than 20 grams of carbohydrates per day. In the induction phase, you will find that you will lose the most of your weight because your insulin levels will go down, because your glucose levels in the blood will go down, you will actually lose a lot of fluid, and that volume that you will lose will actually help you with your heart diseases, with your hypertension, with your weakness in general of the body, with your skeletal muscle activity, and with your brain clarity. So the phase 1 or the induction phase is designed this way. With less than 20 grams of carbohydrates, it will actually motivate you and it will help you keep healthy and help you lose a lot of weight at the start. You'll start noticing that you have changes in your waist, changes in your hip circumference, changes in other parts of your body. People will start to compliment you on your weight loss journey. So phase 2 of the Atkins diet is the ongoing weight loss phase. The ongoing weight loss phase is a phase when you are losing weight, but you are now trying to add more carbohydrates to your diet, but you cannot go over than 50 grams of carbohydrates a day. The range for the ongoing weight loss phase is about 25 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day. Now, you can have 25 to 50 grams of carbohydrates, but they should come from good sources like, once again, brown sources of carbohydrates, good vegetables like yams, sweet potatoes. These are really good as carbohydrate sources. And you can have berries, nuts, tomato juice. You can even have yogurt, but make sure it's not sweetened yogurt or it's not fruit yogurt, because fruit yogurt is one of the worst foods that you can actually put in your body. And I have other videos, you can go look at my channel where I actually discuss about the fruit yogurt in my keto video and in my pre-diabetes videos. So the third phase is actually the pre-maintenance phase. Now, the goal of the Atkins diet is not to keep losing weight. It's rather to achieve that ideal weight and then keep on maintaining that weight by a sustainable diet. Now, contrary to the keto diet, which does not change, the keto diet stays the same throughout your journey, the Atkins diet keeps adding a bit more carbohydrates, and that's how the Atkins diet makes itself more sustainable to the user. Now, at the start, we saw that you could have less than 20 grams of carbs. In the next phase, which was the ongoing weight loss phase, you could have about 25 to 50 grams of carbohydrates. The third phase, which I'm talking about now, is the pre-maintenance phase, when you are actually coming closer to your maintenance weight, to your ideal weight, and you are actually now starting to go into a phase when you want to ease yourself through the weight loss journey. And you can have about 80 grams, and that's the upper limit. You can have about 80 grams of carbohydrates a day in the pre-maintenance phase, and this phase actually comes when you are about 10 pounds to your goal. So after the pre-maintenance phase comes the maintenance phase. Now the maintenance phase is really important because you will be in the maintenance phase for the longest time. You can have about 80 to 100 grams of carbohydrates a day. That's about 3 times less than the current FDA recommendation, which is about 300 grams. Now you will have a good idea how many carbs you actually need for maintaining your weight. If you feel like you're losing more weight, rather than adding more grams of carbohydrates, you should actually add more percentage of fat, because you need to have that fixed proportions of fat, proteins, and carbs. Once again, I'll repeat that, and it is about 60 to 70% fat, 20 to 30% protein, and about 5 to 10% carbohydrates. A person who has kidney disease or has had a history of kidney disease should not go on the Atkins diet because it's higher in protein. High protein has been linked to renal problems in those who have pre-existing renal conditions, not in normal individuals. Athletes have about 300 grams of protein a day, but they're really fine because they do not have pre-existing renal conditions. If you are a type 1 diabetic who is on insulin, you should actually talk to your doctor first before starting the Atkins diet, because you will have to alter these insulin levels according to your diet. If you change your diet, you will have to actually lower your insulin levels. You may even have to go really low numbers that you just started as soon as you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So you should make sure if you have any health conditions, you should talk to your doctor first before starting the Atkins diet. Thank you so much. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel and dropping down a thumbs up. If you have any queries, make sure you comment your queries down below so that I will be able to answer them once I make my next video. I also have many other videos on weight loss, on keto, and on diabetes on my channel. So make sure you go check them out. The link is in the description.